Hello, Warriors fans. We're back with another episode of electrifying news about our Golden State. Today, I bring you an update that's shaking up the NBA and raising a flood of questions. Significant changes in the Warriors roster. What do these alterations mean for the team's future? How will fan expectations transform from here? Before we dive into the topic, I need to remind you of something important. If you experience every emotion of the Golden State as if you were on the court, make sure to like this video. And of course, subscribe to the channel to ensure you don't miss any crucial details on this epic journey of the Warriors. Plus, turning on notifications puts you front and center to receive the latest news and discussions. Now, without further ado, let's talk about what's stirring the waters of the NBA. Recently, the Warriors made a tough decision that caught many by surprise. They waived Kevin Knox too. Yes, a player that many believed would bring a fresh energy to the team. But now, the big question arises. Was this the right decision? What does the future hold for Knox, a player with so much potential who has yet to find his definitive space in the NBA? For you, the fan who follows every move, this news must have shaken your expectations. Knox, who entered the NBA with high hopes after being selected 9th overall in the 2018 draft by the Knicks, has had a roller coaster career. In this year's Summer Leagues, he showcased a promising performance, averaging an impressive 17.5 points and 8.5 rebounds per game in just 4 outings. This reignited hopes that he could finally fulfill what many saw in him since his days at Kentucky. However, things changed quickly. The preseason wasn't as generous. In just 2 games for the Warriors, Knox averaged a modest 3 points and 2 rebounds, which undoubtedly weighed on the team's decision not to keep him on the roster. But the question echoing now is, what will be next for Knox? Will he find a new team in the NBA? Or is it time to consider new opportunities in international leagues? Still young at just 25, Kevin Knox has already played for 4 different teams in the league. This raises another question. Is there a team willing to take a chance on him at this critical juncture in his career? His determination and desire to turn things around are evident, but will that be enough? I want to know what you think about this. Do you believe Knox still has a place to shine in the NBA, or should he consider a new path? Additionally, another point has been stirring the league's backrooms, the possible fate of Jimmy Butler. One of the big names from the Miami Heat, Butler could be on the move, and one of the most discussed rumors is that the Golden State Warriors might be his new home. But what price are we willing to pay? Do you think it makes sense to sacrifice Jonathan Kuminga, one of the team's most promising talents, to bring Butler aboard? Kuminga, at just 22 years old, exceeded expectations last season, showcasing incredible potential. However, the Warriors are in a moment of urgency. With Steph Curry nearing the end of his legendary career, the pressure to win another title is immense. Is it worth it to give up a bright future in exchange for immediate victory? Rashad McCants, a former player and current commentator, made an interesting observation. He believes Kuminga has all the makings to become a younger version of Butler. If this is true, would the Warriors be making a mistake by trading him? On the other hand, former player Gilbert Arenas highlighted the vision of Pat Riley, the iconic director of the Miami Heat. He's looking for a player with Butler's impact to keep the team at the elite level of the NBA. How does this affect the scenario for the Warriors? This is the big question. Are we ready to sacrifice a talent like Kuminga to bring in Butler? The immediate goal is clear. Win now, claim another ring. But what about the future? Could this decision jeopardize the long-term path of the Golden State Warriors? I want to hear from you. What would you do if you were in charge? Would you bet everything on a winning season now, or would you think about building a sustainable future? And what about Knox? With so much potential, will he find his place on another team, or will his career take a new turn outside the NBA? With every decision, the futures of players and teams are shaped, and the impact of this directly hits us, the fans who cheer and suffer with every play. Leave your comments below, share your opinions, and join this conversation. Every voice matters, every perspective counts. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel to keep following these discussions closely. But is the sacrifice really worth it? The trade of a promising future like Kuminga's for a veteran star like Butler, who would undoubtedly bring immediate impact, raises a heavy question. It's not so simple. We're talking about potential versus urgent need, about promise versus reality. So, the question that lingers, Are we ready to pay this price? How many times in recent history have we seen such moves completely change the course of a franchise? The pursuit of the title is an obsession, but what if that costs us what comes next? Would Butler's shine outweigh the risk of losing a rising gem? Butler has proven his worth in the NBA Finals. There's no doubt about that. His ability to decide games, to lead in crucial moments, is undeniable. But the question looming is, how much time does Butler have left at the top? Would his presence guarantee the title we so desire, or would we just be postponing an inevitable rebuilding? On the other hand, Kuminga, this kid has shown something that few young players manage: consistency and grit. At just 22 years old, he has already earned the trust of fans and experts alike, overcoming challenges that many veterans would struggle to face. Could he, in a few years, become the cornerstone that keeps the Warriors competitive? Or are we about to witness him shine elsewhere after a miscalculation? The tension is palpable. Every decision, every move behind the scenes could change everything. And you, the passionate fan, find yourself in the midst of it all. What would you do? Would you go all in for the ring now, no matter the cost? Or would you preserve the future, trusting that Kuminga's talent could take the team back to the top once again? And what about Kevin Knox? His story is also filled with uncertainties. Will he find a new path in the NBA? Or is this the time for him to restart his career overseas? We know that many players find new success in international leagues, but could that be Knox's destiny? Or is there a twist in his journey that no one expects? These decisions that seem simple on paper are, in fact, loaded with doubts and risks. What's at stake is not just the present, but the entire legacy of a franchise. Every move could change the fate of a season, or even an era. So what now? Take a risk or hold steady? The pressure is mounting because we all know what's at stake. On one side, there's the chance to bring in Butler, a dominant player whose presence could make the difference between a championship and disappointment in the finals. On the other side, there's Kuminga, a young talent still writing his future, yet already showing signs that he could be the next big name for the Warriors. Every minute that passes without a decision is a double-edged sword. Some see time as an opportunity for reflection, while others feel the weight of urgency closing in. What if Kuminga ends up being the next big mistake the Warriors let slip away? Think about how many times we've seen young talents thrive on other teams, while the one that let them go watches from a distance, filled with regret. At 22, he's still far from reaching the peak of his career. Now imagine, the Warriors let him go, and he shines on another team. It would be a painful blow for a franchise that's already starting to think about its future without Steph Curry. However, the other side of the coin isn't any lighter. If the Warriors decide not to take a gamble on Butler, what would that mean for their immediate title chances? Steph, Draymond, Klay, these guys have been the backbone of the dynasty, but how much longer can they maintain their high level? Do we have the luxury of waiting for Kuminga to develop while these icons draw closer to the end of their careers? Now here's the question no one wants to face directly. If Butler comes, can he seamlessly integrate into the Warriors system? Would he be the missing piece for a new championship, or would his arrival create even more pressure and expectations, something the team is all too familiar with, and that doesn't always end well? And there's more. Butler is a natural leader, someone unafraid to take control when the stakes are high, but in a team that already has its own stars, will this dynamic work? Is it possible to see Butler, Curry, and Draymond coexisting harmoniously in a season where everything is on the line? What few are discussing, but what you might already be wondering is this. If such a trade puts the Warriors back at the center of the NBA spotlight, but at the cost of losing their identity, is it worth it? After all, we're talking about a team that has built its recent history on player chemistry and developing talent in-house. Butler would bring immediate shine, but what would become of the future without Kuminga? And what no one knows, but suspects, is that this decision, if made, won't just affect the next season. It will shape the franchise's future for years to come. A bet like this has no turning back. And you? Do you think it's worth it to go all in on Butler? Or do you prefer to believe that Kuminga's future might surprise us in ways we can't yet imagine? So, what will it be? Time is ticking, and every second of indecision could cost more than we realize. The balance between the immediacy of a championship and the promise of the future is teetering, and the Warriors find themselves at a crossroads. The most intriguing part? We know that a decision like this could not only change the fate of a season, but could also rewrite the entire story of the team for years to come. What no one is saying out loud, but is felt in the air, is that the pressure doesn't only come from within the locker room. The fans, you, who live and breathe every play, every basket, can feel it. Any wrong move could cost years of rebuilding. Is it worth the risk? Are we ready to trade a promise for immediate sparkle? And let's not forget, Knox's situation remains open-ended. Will he manage to find his place in the NBA, or will we see him take a different path? His journey could still surprise us. Now, if it were up to you, what would you do? Would you trade Kuminga for Butler? Would you bet on the now or the future? That's where the true dilemma lies. I want to hear your thoughts. Leave your comment, share your perspective, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, now's the time. Here, every discussion matters. Every opinion makes a difference. Hit the subscribe button, activate the notification bell, and stay up to date with the behind the scenes of our Golden State Warriors. We're just getting started with this story.